What is up, YouTube? This is Carl here. But in this video, there's going to be a 2JZ in here. So it's been a long time coming. This build has desperately needed an update on the 2JZ, some of the parts that I've acquired, and just progress in general. Like I said earlier, I'm hoping by the end of this video that a 2JZ is going to be sitting in this engine bay, and if it means sacrificing another week, so be it. So I already started off this video a couple days back, so we're going to go into the past and start off there with some cleanup of the transmission tunnel and getting all the old stuff out that I really don't need. So let's get right to it. Motor mounts are out, just for my reference and your reference also. It's a center hole that we're using for the mounts, I believe, not this one in the back. Here's the AR5 transmission out of a 2008 Pontiac Solstice. For those of you who do want to run this transmission, get something that's 2007 and before, because if you get the 2008 like I did, which is a mistake by LKQ, it comes with a side trans mount, which is a little bit harder to mount up to the E46. As some of you may be familiar, this does look very similar to an R154, and with the AR5 it has the mount on the bottom of the trans. I do need to take out the stock bell housing out of the AR5. The transmission does bolt up to a 1J bell housing. And then the only other modification, if I'm aware of, is I gotta chop a small section of this input shaft. So as much as I'd like to drop the transmission as is, this is unfortunately too long, and I need to get a new one before I can finalize this whole setup. So I need to take this out because this is going to hit the center brace in the tranny tunnel. So front end of the motor is pretty much complete. If you remember from the last video, I had an issue with the ATI super damper. I'll show you guys how I fixed it. So basically I had the OD of the hub turned down on a lathe so that it can remove some of the material. That way this can slide right on. Probably not the best idea, but oh well. FYI, this time around I actually put some anti-seize on the outside of the hub, so it slid on pretty good. Pretty happy about that. I also have some pulleys from Drift Motion. Those are all on and torqued down and stuff. Oh, that's not a pulley. That's for the AC. That came like that. So I got the pulleys on, serpentine belt. FYI. If you have an ATI super damper and you are trying to keep the AC, the stock belt will not work. You need to get a different belt. I'll show you guys that right now. Also, since I'm running the stock throttle body that is drive-by-wire, I got the drive-by-wire delete from Drift Motion finally, and then I installed it. All you have to do is you take this out and then you bolt it in there. It's pretty self-explanatory if you get it, but Drift Motion has a video on that. So if you see, which you cannot see, let me blow this up really quick just so you can see inside there. See that throttle body? Yep. That's opening. So we're in business. So as far as motor mounts go, I will be running the Tire Death Racing motor mounts by, well, the website is VAS chassis. I'll link it. You already guys know the drill. I'll link it right here. Tire Death Racing. Not bolted in completely because I want to get this position in the engine bay before I tighten anything down. There's the other side. Pretty happy with the quality. I bought this trans with only 30,000 miles, but I figured it'd be a good idea to change out the slate cylinder anyway, so I bought this one from Rock Auto. Yours, if you do decide to go with the Aero 5, yours should come with a brake line coming off of here. Coming off, oh, focus. Yours should come with a brake line coming off of right there, which mine did. I have it right here, and the reason I have it off is because I had someone, if you could just focus, there we go. I had someone weld on a dash 4 and fitting onto the hard line. So now I could put this together. So for this setup, I'm going to be running an ACT pressure plate, an ACT clutch, and a competition flywheel. I believe the ACT clutch is specific to Aero 5 to 2JZ, but regardless, I'm gonna include all the part numbers right here. I'm also going to be running some fresh ARP bolts. Now before I install any of that stuff I just showed you, I gotta get the motor off the stand in a messy garage with another motor in the way. Let's do it. Off to a good start. Motor's out of the way. Wasted about 20 minutes of my time because the thing kept tipping over. I hope. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. So, time to clear out this space and get the 2J out. Ladies and gentlemen, the motor's off the stand. Motor's on the ground. Look how nicely that sits compared to the BMW motor. BMW motor's all slanted and ready to tip over. It's the one time I really should be wearing gloves. I'm not wearing gloves. Now I finally have access to the rear main seal. You haven't seen me take out the front main seal. That's how I do it. I get a screw in there, like a self-tapper or something pointy, and then I pull it out. Woo! That's out. Yep, that's good enough for me. Got my competition flywheel. I did clean the surface a little bit. There was some machine oil. I think this goes on straight away. Got my ARP studs. Got my Loctite. Start putting these babies on. Pilot bearing is on, a little bit of grease and some tappas with a hammer, and goes right in. Okay, so my clutch and flywheel pressure plate did not come with an alignment tool. But I got a solution. If I take out the bell housing on my trans, and you can't see it, I can use the input shaft as an alignment tool. So these things just happen with builds. Pretty much ready to bolt everything up, and forgot to buy bolts. Pretty bummed about that. Of all things, I forgot to buy a bolt to put the pressure plate on. But hey, this is what happens with builds. You can plan all you want, but there's always the unpredictable aspect of it, that you're gonna be missing that one piece to finish everything. So I'm sorry you guys waited this long for the video, but I'm not gonna give you guys an incomplete video. So we'll continue this later. Alright, so clutch and pressure plate are on. I believe these are torqued to 19 foot-pounds. I don't have anything that goes that low, so I went with a pretty nice hand tight. Hopefully this is all lined up and I can get this transmission mounted. So it looks like this part of the shaft is too long.
That's what she said.
So I need to cut it about 1/8 of an inch in order for it to sit in the 2J. Cut off 1/4 of an inch, also deeper the edge so that goes on better. Did a really good job of making sure that I cut in a straight line. So let's toss this bad boy on. Bell housing and slave cylinder are on. The only thing I gotta worry about really is this hose, because I have to install an AN line from here leading out. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to get to that once it's all in, but I guess we'll figure that out later. Let's just get this on. It's time. Only concern I have is if the transmission is gonna hit the transmission tunnel. Some people hammer it out, some people don't. We'll see what happens, but we're gonna give it a shot. We're gonna try to drop this motor in right now. And just like that, the 2JZ is in. Let me show you guys. The 2JZ in its new home. Motor mounts are in, sitting nice and pretty. I am very limited on space back here, so if I need to take the intake manifold off, I may not be able to do that. I'm also a little bit concerned if I'm going to have enough space for my turbo, so I guess we'll see where that goes. But yeah, super excited that the engine is finally in. I'm super happy, super happy. I do have my jack holding up the trans. You're probably not going to be able to see it. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see it, but I have the jack holding up the trans. I might be able to get away with just having the motor mounts hold it until I make a trans mount. So I hope you guys are just as excited as I am to finally have this motor sitting in this engine bay. We're getting close. Well, not really. I got a lot of work to do, but we're getting somewhere. So that is it for this video, guys. Do me a favor, please drop me a like. I mean, 2J's in. Come on, just one time. Drop me a like. Let me know what you think about the build in the comment section down below. And if you haven't already, just subscribe. This thing's gonna be insane. Just subscribe. And I'll keep you guys posted on this. See you guys later.